Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. This is the second update now on the Bradley, the M2A3 Bradley from MENG. So in this update we're going to get the engine done. That's the engine, the transmission, i.e. the gearbox if you're this side of the pond, transmission if you're basically anywhere else, and also the radiators and all that kind of internal engine stuff. Okay, so we're going to get it all made, we're going to get it painted and weathered as well in this video. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'll try and cover it as much as I can as in each part. We'll go to the instructions first, we'll see what we've got to do, we'll do those steps, we'll go back, we'll review them, see if there's any problems, any issues may have cropped up, or did it go together perfectly like it has so far. It's been very nice so far. The kit is I wouldn't say fallen together, but it goes together rather nice, really nice, and I love the detail is absolutely beautiful. So let's hope it continues on with the engine. So let's get down to the bench and have a look at the instructions and see what we've got to do. Okay, so here we are down at the instructions, down at the bench, let's say, and here are the instructions. Yes. We've got step 12, step 13, step 14 and step 15. Okay, then into shot there, step 14 and step 15, and then in step 16 it's all getting fitted and stuff. So it's time really to there's a few more internal things and all that. They've all got to be done and in place and then painted before I fit the engine. So I won't actually be fitting the engine at that stage, and the gearbox or transmission. Won't be fitting them at that stage. But we'll carry on then with the installation of all the other little bits and pieces, and then we'll do the internal paintings of it, and then we can install the engine. So for this we've got 4 steps. Okay, we've got 12, 13, there's step 12, okay, and as you see there it says the Radiator Assembly. Okay, we'll get that one done first. We'll come back, we'll have a quick look at the radiator. Then it says Engine Assembly, so we'll get that much done. Alright, and again, back and a quick look at it. Then we're doing the transmission, okay, getting that done. And finally the engine air intake system assembly. That's a biggie. Engine air intake system assembly. Okay, so we'll get all them done, and like I said, then we'll get them painted, and we'll get them weathered, and we'll put them aside then for installation. So pointless talking about it, get stuck in. I get step 12 done. We come back, we have a look at how step 12 went. Okay, so there we go, step 12 done. I'll just get out my little coloured marker here, my highlighting pen. I like marking things off as I've done, just because so I can sort of pick it up at a glance, and I know that they're all done and I don't have to go back and do them all over again. Not that I would anyway. Okay, and little 13 then, these are markers for when they go on at later stages. Okay, now there we go. So shake the tree. So anyway, there's the first piece. Okay, no problems. I was kind of anticipating problems actually when it come to these little dangly pieces. I was saying to myself, these aren't going to they're going to be a bit fragile and all that, but no, they went in quite nicely, no problems with them, and they're not fragile at all. Very nice indeed. Now I will go over that later on and just give it an overnight to dry, and give that a kind of a little bit of a clean up. Won't need a filler, but I'll go over it with a little bit of Mr. Surfacer, and that'll fill that little, that little kind of a join between the two. It's just a tiny little mark. Oh God, there we go. It's just a tiny little mark. That'll clean up nicely and everything else. Just leave it overnight. A little bit of a scrape. Mightn't even have to fill with the Mr. Surfacer, right? And then we got into the radiator section. One thing to note here with the radiator section is to make sure that you got these things on right, okay, either side here. And it's quite easy. You can take them off. You can put them on as you see them. But the front piece here, right? There's a little groove cut into it, cut into the main piece, this L19 piece. That just, I keep hitting the camera. I do apologise because it's literally just there. And again, and that just slots in, right? So therefore, you know the orientation of that piece. And as you can see here, there's a little kind of a slot cut out for this that pops in. Just make this, it's the 4 or 5 and 3, okay, little holes, little divots, okay, they're not actually holes all the way through, but you can see them. So it's 5 to the front and 3. You can see it from the drawing there, it's 5 and 3. Now I don't know whether you can kind of, it's very, very faint, so I actually had to kind of look at it myself through kind of binoculars to see it, but there we go. Ta-da! And there's that piece made, and there's that piece made. Okay, and like I said, it might need a little bit of cleanup later on. We'll see anyway. Okay, so now putting that aside, we're on now to step 13. Step 13. Now we're on to the main engine block itself. We're also fitting this radiator assembly thingy that we did in the radiator assembly onto it. Yep, we have the radiator on top. What else have we got that I can kind of know what I'm looking at? Not very much. I'm not very technical when it comes to that. There's, we got our exhaust manifolds. They're going on into the where the cylinders are, and as we can see from that, it's a 4 either side, so it's a V8 engine, and I presume that's the flywheel there. Starter motor probably. That would be the sump. Don't know what that is. It's probably part of the carburetor, maybe. I don't know what they are. They're engine parts, so all you mechanically minded people would know what pieces they are anyway. So I'll get that made up anyway, and we'll come back, we'll have a quick look at that and see if there's any problems. You know, like in the last one, which there was no problems whatsoever. Just a couple of little things to note rather than we say problems. I wouldn't call them problems at all. No problems so far, so I'm sort of looking for things to talk about because it's everything's fitting so nice. So anyway, lads, I'll get that done, come back and we'll have a look. Okay, so now step 12 is done, or step 13 is done, should I beg your pardon. Step 12, we made the radiator kind of section there for the top of the engine, and now we've got the engine itself all nicely done up. Okay, no problems, literally no problems. Everything went together quite nicely, just slotted into place, and we've ended up with whoa, an out of focus, a rather nice little engine. Okay, very, very nice indeed. So what's next? Okay, there's the engine anyway. That's all going to be, when it's all painted and weathered, it should look absolutely gorgeous. Freaking lovely. Right, so let's move over now. Step 14, and step 14 has us doing the transmission. Okay, transmission, it seems to be sort of pretty straightforward, not that many parts to it. Okay, so let's get them made. Okay, so another quick look there at what we've got to get done. Right, and even there's the colours that we're supposed to put on it. So let's get it all made up. Okay, and I'll be back and I'll show you and we'll discuss it, see if there's any problems. I'm not foreseeing any, I've had none so far, so let's continue as we left off. Okie dokie. So we have that done. What is it? It's the transmission assembly. Transmission assembly. Oh, that's it, John. Keep banging the thickened thing. There we go. Trying to orientate it right. Here's the transmission anyway. All nicely built up. No problems whatsoever. Everything just sort of slotted into place quite nicely. The only kind of niggly thing I did have really were these two parts here. Okay. Now they're clearly marked where they go in because there's a little sort of a divot there for them, for either of them, right? But it's the orientation of the piece. And also on this piece here, there was one of those big sort of I call them plugs. I don't know what they're actually flipping called, but it's just sort of I show it, you know. It's just a little bit of extra. There we go. One of those kind of things, right? Now that isn't the one that came off. The one that came off, I got so thick an eye, but I just fecked it away. But it's those little extra bits of plastic that they put on. It just makes them easier to mold or whatever. But there was an extra piece on the bottom which was completely throwing me, and what I did was I just looked at the piece, put it aside, and then whatever way I put it down, it just clicked with me. It's one of those little feckin' plug pieces, and once I had that figured out, snipped it off, and then I could see where it went down. But that was the only thing that sort of threw me. But that was more my kind of fault rather than the actual piece itself. But the fitting of everything there went swimmingly, absolutely beautiful, no problems at all. Everything really fitted in very, very nicely indeed. Okay, so nicely detailed. Now, like I say, I'm not very technically minded. Well, I'm reasonably technically minded. I'm not stupid, but that's debatable. But I can see that that's pretty nicely detailed, and if they're going to that much detail on little things like that are going to be all covered over for a finish, you know, a lot of the pieces down there, you know, you're not going to get to see very, very much of the engine when it's all in, and the transmission and the air intake, which is next piece to make. You know, it's nice that all that detail is there. If you want to do a kind of a cutaway, which, believe it or not, I'm kind of half thinking about doing a bit of a cutaway. I know, shouldn't really, but I'm thinking about it, because what's the point in going through all this lovely work in putting all these pieces in and building them all up and painting them all up and then covering everything in? It kind of bit of a shame, unless you're going to do a nice display piece. But I don't know if my skills are up to that yet. We'll see. Continuing on anyway. Okay, we've got the engine air intake system assembly. That's a big word. Okay, and as we can see here, we're going to leave a little bit of PE to go in. Okay, so we're putting in a bit of PE as well. Bits of plastic everywhere. Cutting off little bits of plastic everywhere. So we've got two sides, front piece, disc, bit of PE, and a little kind of a knobbly bit. Okay, and then we're kind of putting the cover on that. And that seems to be the end for the time being of engine components, and it's all kind of fitting them. And like I said, I'm not going to fit them until I have the whole interior painted. So I'll get this made, we'll come back and we'll have a look at that, and then we'll get our engine, our transmission, and this air intake system assembly. We'll get them painted as well. Yes, we're going to get the whole lot done in this video. Okay, so bear with me, we'll get that made, and then we'll be back and we'll start the painting then in a few minutes. Rightio, so now there's that piece. Okay, let's get it sort of turned right, and a lovely little bit there of PE as well. Okay, so again, I had no problems whatsoever in building that piece. It went together absolutely beautiful, really, really nice. Some very nice kind of detail on that as well. Okay, as you can see, yeah, pretty straightforward, no problems. No problems at all. So now what we've got, right, we've got, we'll just take the instructions away. We don't need them for the time being anyway, right? We've got three pieces. We've got our engine block. We've got our transmission. And we have our engine air intake assembly. Okay, we have these three pieces here. So we're going to get them painted now next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get everything coated with lovely NATO black. I like NATO black because it's a black colour. It's very easy to, because the engine is going to be mostly black anyway. And I'm not going to use flat black. Okay, I find flat black is it's grand colour, but I kind of prefer the NATO black because it weathers nicely. It weathers an awful lot much nicer, and you can use a black wash in it, and it will make things stick out that little bit better, and it'll still be black. So black is black is black. So it's that's the way I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to get everything coated in NATO black. Come back then, we'll have a look at that, and then we'll start any little bits of detail that have to be done on it. I know that we got some blue, nice blue colours up around here. Okay, now I don't think I have the proper blue for it, but I have an acrylic blue which I'm going to use. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to get them painted up. We'll come back and we'll have a look. Okay, now so I've got the first layer of paint down. Okay, on the engine, transmission, and air intake. Okay, we'll have a look at the engine first, right? I use a nice, like I said, I want to use NATO black, and NATO black I did use. So that's all now ready for the detail painting on that. These sides of the radiator on the top are a nice light blue colour, something similar to that. I'm going to paint the centre of that in a silver. Okay, then give it a black wash over it and sort of give it a nice rub down so it's got that kind of a silvery effect underneath it. Silver again then for these pipework of it. Okay, some rust tones on the exhaust manifolds and tubies, and the rest then just a little bit of a nice dry brush and make it look nice and weathered and used. Not much, shall we say, so nice bit to do on that. This is just going to get a dry brush. Okay, it's just plain NATO black, although I might just do sort of the same thing again here with that. Give it the centerpiece there a silver colour, and then give it the black dry brush or black wash, and you know, because it's got, if you look in there, it's got that little bits of detail in it, very similar to the top of that. Okay, so with the silver base and the black wash over it, let the black wash sort of literally dry in, and clean it off with a cotton bud. I should give it a nice kind of effect there on those. And here is the transmission, and that basically gets painted in silver completely, the whole thing in nice silver colour, and a couple of these little parts here get detailed with red. Black wash then which will sort of highlight all those little bits and pieces on it. Okay, so that's the plan. Let's see how it all works out, and back with you in a sec. According to this, but it'll take me a while, but I get windy bubbles. Just finished my dinner, so I'm kind of a very nice dinner. I'm not going to tell you what I got, forgot. Anyway lads, back in a sec. Right, so here we go, have them all finished and painted. So we start with the engine. Okay, nice close-ups on that. Nicely detailed, I must say. Painted up nicely. Painted the top there silver, black wash over it, then cleaned off most of the wash, so I ended up with that nice effect there. Painted the sides then of that blue NATO black on the engine, and aluminium then for the silvery bits, and the rusty exhaust then was basically NATO brown, a little bit of bronze, not bronze, is it bronze? I suppose it was copper, sorry, I beg your pardon. There's a little bit of copper, tries to get that kind of a bronzing effect that that's where I got the bronze from. The bronzing effect that you get from, you know, heated metal, and finish off then with the whole lot with a black wash. Came out okay. I quite like it. It looks kind of slightly impressive. Okay, nice engine. Like I said, you're not going to get to see half it. You're going to get to see a small bit of it. But nicely done, nice detail. Okay, here we've got the main engine air intake system. Same again with that. Silver, well, it was actually aluminium. Tamiya aluminium. Okay, with black wash, cleaned it off then with a cotton bud. Silver then on the photo etch piece there on the front. Everything else then is just NATO black, and a dry brush. I use buff for the dry brush in that because it kind of stands out nice. It makes a nice effect. I also used the buff on the dry brush of that. Finished it off then with this yoke here, which is a graphite pencil, HB pencil, just to get just sort of a slight bit of a metallic look to it. But the nicest of all, of course, is this piece here, which is the transmission. Painted the whole lot silver, copper for the lifting points, flat black here on this piece up here, whatever it is, red on those couple of parts, and that was it then, and gave it a black wash, and it came up really nice. It really did, because there's loads of detail to come up in it. And the silver is a great base for that. It really is. Well, sorry, not silver, but aluminium. It is a silver colour, but feck it. Really ended up nice. It really looks good. Definitely needed that black wash, and I kind of applied it in about 3 or 4 different coats, believe it. Really happy with how it turned out, because it gives it that kind of a grimy but yet clean look. Okay, and really impressed with the detail on that. Absolutely gorgeous. It looks absolutely fabulous. You know, it looks nice here on the pictures, but in real life it just looks that even nicer again. So there's our engine parts all nicely done. So that's it for this video. We got our engine, transmission and air intake built and painted and weathered. So that's now all ready for fitting when I get to that stage. Okay, so like I said, that's it for this video. Don't forget now, next video we'll be back into the more construction of the internal parts, and I don't think there's that much more to do on the inside of the actual say the cab part of it, but there are a couple of internal parts on the turret as well to be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish on the next video. I'm going to finish off all the internals and get all the internals then painted and carry on then with the outside of it. So don't forget to join me for that, and the easiest way to do that would be, of course, to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, and by hitting the bell then you'll be notified as soon as I upload the next video. So in the meantime, enjoy your modelling, stay safe, and don't forget, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it. As John signing off. See you on the next one, lads. Take care.